So in this video we're going to look at how we can find an angle, which we've called here as theta, working backwards. So I know that theta equals a half, and for all of these I'm going to have angles between 0 and 360 or 0 and 2 pi. So what I know, I should know after all the work I've done, that theta equals a half, then the angle must be 30 degrees. And that's just from my knowledge of all the work that I've done before. But more than that, I know there's two angles for sine, two answers, and the other answer is 180 minus 30 degrees. So how does that work if the sine is negative a half? Well, what I'm going to use is a reference angle of sine theta equals a half. So I'm going to use my reference angle. The one that I know, the one that I've just worked out, is that sine theta equals a half. In fact, let's not call this theta and confuse ourselves. Let's call this something else. Let's just to make it nice and simple. Of course, we'll use another Greek letter. Let's use something like phi. So sine phi is a half. Then phi will be the 30 degrees. That's my reference angle. Now, because it's negative, it comes into the next quadrant. Sine is negative in the third and fourth quadrants. So theta equals the third quadrant here is 180 plus 30. So 180 plus 30 is 210. And it's also negative in the fourth quadrant, which is here. And again, using my reference angle, that's got to be 30 there. So it's got to be 330. So if you want to pause and have a think about how I got those 210 and 330 using the reference angle. So here cosine theta equals root 2 over 2. Now I need to have a little bit of a recall from all the work that I've been doing, but because this is positive, one of the angles comes in the first quadrant, and you can just double check. That'll be 45 degrees. Okay, 45 degrees. I should answer this in red. So that's 45 degrees. Now the other one. Now we've done some work and we found that the cosine comes here and the other positive one is here. So I'm using that as a reference angle and I'm doing that as 315. Okay, and let's have a look at this final one, which is tan. Now this is negative pi over 3. So the same thing, I'm going to use a reference angle. And my reference angle is going to be that tan phi. Now when it's root 3, then I have to think back and think that that will give me 60 degrees. So these I'm just recalling, or I'm having a little think about, and this is 60 degrees. So that's my reference angle. I also know that tan is negative. Well, it's positive here, but it's negative here in the second quadrant. It's positive here, and it's negative here. So I've got to use 60 and come back from here. So phi will be 180 take away 60. You can check these on your calculator or on a graph. And 360 take away 60, which gives me 300. So you might need to look through these again and get this firmed up in your mind and do a few more examples. But that's how I can work out all these different exact ratios.